Howdy, folks. Today I'm showing you a computer simulated presentation of a quilt that I made for the January 2026 Soft Square Facebook challenge. I took actual pictures of each individual block that I used to make this quilt and added them one block at a time to the presentation. And at the end of the presentation, you will see the actual completed quilt. So sit back and enjoy this short presentation, and I'll get back with you at the end of the video. See you in a little bit. For those of you who don't know how to make a mitered border, I thought I would show you. I've got the border all on except for the last miter, and so I decided to turn the camera on to show you that a mitered border, instead of the regular border that you cut off straight and then add to it, the mitered border comes in the corner like a picture frame, and it's a 90-degree angle, or 45-degree angle, I'm sorry. So the last one is over here, and when you make this kind of border, you overlap the borders. So when you're putting on the first side, you're going to go over by whatever the width of your border is. In this case, it's 9 inches. And with a mitered border, you sew all the pieces together before you put it on, whereas the other kind of border, you do one of them at a time. So what you want to do is start in your corner. In this case, it's going to be easy because you have a perfect square here. Sometimes you don't always have that, but in this case we do. And so we're going to take and fold this in on itself, these two corners meeting up. And we're going to bring the two right sides together. Make sure these corners match, are at a 45-degree angle. You can feel the seam here. You want to line up the border so that the miters match perfectly. You know, where your different sections line up. And I always pin things so that it doesn't slip on me. Some people do, some people don't. Now, if you have a 45-degree angle on your mat, your cutting mat, you can use that. Go from this corner and follow it up to that corner, and that would give you your angle. But I have a ruler called a binding ruler that I use, and I put my ruler on my fabric, and I've got it lined up with the fold of the quilt and this edge on the edge of the binding. And I take my friction pin and draw my lines. When you sew these borders on, you do just like you do binding. You come up to within a 1/4 inch of the edge, and then you angle off on both pieces. Now I go ahead and pin a few places over this line so everything stays together for me. And then I just sew on the line. be sure you have this pulled out and out of your way so that you don't sew it. And then you just sew right up to the seam and back tack, whatever, however you say it. But don't sew past the seam or you'll catch part of the quilt. Now I always check to make sure everything's the way it should be before I cut. And as you can see, it's perfectly mitered there. Everything matched up perfect there and perfect here. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to trim this off. And we've got which I could sew this together and have a square, or I could sew it to another piece of fabric and have a block. Anyway, it will get used. It will not go to waste. I'm going to press this and show you what it looks like. There you go, perfectly mitered corner. The only thing left to do now is to trim off this little dog ear. Okay, I'm going to have my husband hold this up so I can get a picture of it, and I will show you what it looks like. That's it, folks. All wrapped up in a pretty little package. I almost enjoyed making this little presentation as much as I did making the quilt. Almost. I'd like to encourage you to visit softsquares.com. They're a small family-owned business, and I enjoy promoting small businesses, family-owned businesses, and in some small part helping them to grow. I'm not affiliated with them, nor am I sponsored by them, so just please go check them out. They have really good sales all the time, and each month is a different promotion. They have fabric sales on YouTube every Monday evening 5 o'clock Mountain Time. And I'll link their YouTube channel in the description of this little video. Also, you can find their social media on their website, which is softsquares.com. And this quilt that I made was for their January 2026 challenge. And each month they have a challenge and give you a chance to win a prize. It's usually associated something that you can use for the following month's challenge. This month was red, using red in a quilt or a small project. The quilt top only, it didn't have to be quilted, just the top itself. If you made a small project, it had to be completed. Next month in February is a project that was featured in the Advent box from last year. And the March challenge is something made with floral fabric. And they let you know 3 months at a time what's going to be coming up so you can prepare for it. So I probably won't do something from the Advent box since I didn't have the Advent box and I can't afford any of the projects from it, but I will be doing something from the floral category. Now, if I happen to win this challenge this month, then I will be, of course, doing something from the Advent box. But anyway, what else did I want to say? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It's a little bit different, but I like to have fun with everything I do, and this was fun. So I'll see you in the next one. I'll end this presentation the way I end all of my videos, and my comments and everything else on chats and other people's lives, comments, whatever. Be blessed, less stressed, and pet some fabric today. Bye-bye.